Welcome to AI for Good, the leading, action-oriented, global and inclusive United Nations platform on AI. Organized by the International Telecommunication Union, the United Nations Agency for Digital Technologies, in partnership with 50+ UN sister organizations and co-convened with Switzerland. The goal of AI for Good is to unlock AI's potential to serve humanity. In today's AI for Good event, we are counting on you to use the live video wall feature to ask questions and post comments to help create an engaging discussion. We encourage you to stay until the end to chat, connect, ask questions, and network with our distinguished facilitators and world-class AI experts in the neural network. It is now time to kick off the session and welcome our first speaker. The floor is yours.
Thank you, Anna, for introducing the session. A very good day to you, everyone. Thank you for joining the AI for Goods, AI for Climate Action Innovation Factory. My name is Jiaying Meng from ITU, International Telecommunication Union. This is a continuation session of the 2025 Startup Pitch presentation, where we invited startups to present their solutions that address the climate change problems using AI. For the previous pitch presentations, if you didn't join the pitch session last week, we encourage you to review the video on YouTube. Now, the successful startups that stand out from these two pitch competitions will be invited to COP30 at Belém in Brazil this year. They will compete with each other in the final pitch there, and the winner will be invited to the grand finale at the 2026 AI for Good Global Summit in Geneva. Today, we will not announce any winners. The final evaluation will be done offline among the judges. We will announce the results on our website and keep you updated. Now, please allow me to introduce the three judges that we invited today. Jennifer, Vice President of AI at Logically, where she leads the development of AI-driven solutions to detect and combat narrative threats. Welcome, Jennifer.
Thank you so much. It's a pleasure to be here.
Thank you. And we have Vijay, the co-founder and CEO of OptiCloud, the winner of the last year's AI for Good Climate Innovation Factory Startup Pitch. He joined us today as the judge. Welcome, Vijay.
Thank you so much. Wonderful to be here.
Thank you. And we also have Carlo, the executive chairman of National AI and Cybersecurity. National AI and Cybersecurity is a global think tank that promotes effective partnerships. Carlo, welcome.
Thank you. It's a pleasure to be here.
Thank you. So today we will have 7 startups to present their solutions. We have a lot of people, so please be reminded of the time. You will have 5 minutes to pitch, and then followed by 5 minutes of Q&A for each startup. Questions will be posed by the judges. For judges, please be reminded that I would appreciate if you can have 1 question per time so that we can have more engagement with our presenter. So now I would like to kick off, and our first presenter will be Dominic Lin from Adapt AI. Welcome, the floor is yours. Dominic, we can see your screen, but please make sure that you're unmuted.
Hi, everyone. Can you see my screen?
Super, we can hear your voice and see your screen.
Super. Hi, I'm Dominic, CEO of Adapt AI. I'm very happy to be here and to present Adapt AI. So, in a very few words, at Adapt AI, we're an AI native platform that gives organizations clarity on the physical assets to drive decarbonization at scale. Let me start with a very quick observation. We have generative AI for text, AI for image, video, audio. But for satellite images and maps, there's still no ChatGPT moment. Maps, as we know today, are outdated. On one side, the opportunity is big. Geospatial data is exploding from 150 satellites in 2008 to nearly 80,000 by 2030. And computer vision models have matured, becoming less expensive. On the other side, most physical assets on Earth are still not precisely mapped. Today, smart or detailed maps are designed for defense or niche industry, not sustainable infrastructure or disaster management. As we have heard this year at AI for Good Summit, the city of Amazon mentioned that creating accurate maps and sharing them become a moral imperative. No mapping means no data, no SDG tracking, no progress. At Adapt AI, we believe that Hub data is a powerful planetary problem-solving machine. It helps us understand assets better and make smarter decisions at scale. And now, when you think about climate change, existing buildings are keys, as they are responsible for 1/3 of total emission, 1/3 of the problem, and 90% of them will still be here by 2050. Our first use case is very concrete. We started talking to retail chain and we were shocked. They didn't actually have a good picture of the asset. A retailer with 800 stores told us that they didn't know which parking they owned. With limited data, it's very hard to make them greener. So we decided to tackle this very specific use case, scanning large outdoor retail parking lots and accelerating solar deployment. Why this asset? First, parking are already artificial land, perfect for renewable. Covering large parking lots in France with solar panels will create an area as big as Paris that would generate enough electricity for 7 million people. This is huge. Second, non-compliance can cost up to 2 million per chain per year. And third, there are very low data or reliable data, and recent regulation require very granular data down to the single tree or shopping cart, which today takes weeks per site and slow deployment. One major retailer already agreed to scale a pilot, and we're discussing with 80% of largest retailer in France. The existing approach is inadequate. Traditional design tools are time-consuming, takes days, and is not very scalable. Existing real estate business intelligence ignores sustainability data, and visual AI annotation lacks end-to-end actionable insight. And finally, digital renovation tools are very often sample average benchmark data and requires one tool for each single solution. That's why we built Adapt AI. You see my screen. That's why we built Adapt AI. We automatically feel what is visible but not mapped today, thanks to computer vision in minutes instead of weeks. We link multiple layers of open data and satellite images, but it's not only about speed, it's about making maps alive. Company can simulate scenarios like solar installation, renovation, climate risk modeling, or even interrogate the assets for insight with questions like, show me all parking lots we own near train station, what are the costs, or what are the additional revenue. In short, we turn static map into dynamic intelligence. And this is how we concretely accelerate change. We accelerated renewable deployment planning timeline from 1 to 3 years, thanks to comprehensive land use and renewable solution analysis. We save up to 150 days of manual work per retail chain by eliminating repetitive tasks, and we give back by sharing and contributing to open source platforms like OpenStreetMap. Our roadmap starts in Europe and unlocking clean energy potential for 25 million people. Our platform will extend into building efficiency, where location intelligence is a foundation for making them greener. But this is just the beginning. We plan to run pilots in Africa, especially with Kenya, starting with Kenya, where satellite analysis can speed trees, conservation studies, streamlining land use approval for new renewable projects. We are a team of machine learning PhD and business experts uniquely positioned to unlock geospatial data using AI for decarbonization globally. So what's next? We have 80% done with our MVP. We have embodied our first major retail change using our tool to make their asset greener. We are supported by enterprise, professional association, and research, and we are part of the UNU network so far. We plan to expand into building and start a pilot in Kenya to speed up approval for new renewable projects. And with AI for good, we will accelerate the most impactful use case. At Adapt AI, our mission is simple: give every organization the clarity it needs to decarbonize assets faster than anyone else. Thank you, and I'm very glad to hear your feedbacks.
Thank you so much, Dominique. Judges, the floor is yours. Let's start from BJ.
Hi,
Thank you.
Dominique. Great presentation. Just really quick, how what is your monetization model for this? And also, how do you see alignment with the SDGs?
So the question is about monetization and the impact. So for the monetization, it's a SaaS software. So they pay for the business intelligence that we bring for the private company. We have a freemium model that the idea is to bring back some data to organization or a nation to use it. And the impact is we really help the project to accelerate by years their deployment of solutions.
Thank you.
Dominic, tell me a little bit more about on your commercial roadmap. What are going to be the essential partnerships that you'll need to forge in order for this project to be globally impactful?
Great question, Carlos. Thanks for asking this. So for the commercial side, we have different directions. The first one is private. We need to work with large corporation, large retail chain that have a global footprint, not only in France, Europe, but globally. So this is our entry point. But the idea then is to work with some government that can leverage all the maps that we are producing. So we need to connect with local government and government in order to bring this tool into the end and help them to plan the project.
Thank you, Dominic.
Hi, Dominic. Thank
Hi.
you for coming to AI for Good, and congratulations on your project. Just some quick questions. First, about your value proposition, I wanted to understand what makes you AI native, which is one of the things that was in your slides. And then I was curious about this pursuit of the EU market and then into Africa, why you're going in that direction, if there's a specific reason, and any sort of kind of barriers to entry you might see in the African market. Thank you.
Yeah. So I go back to the technology. So we are using AI at different levels. The first one, of course, is the computer vision, where you automatically use AI to identify assets like trees or parking lot. But what we really want to bring is natural language chat. So this is the layer that provides a strategic insight, and that we're really working hard. It's not easy. Regarding the second part of the question of why Africa in step 2, we wanted to start in Europe, where we can both bring impact and at the same time bring financial advantages. So we can sell our solution in order to improve it. But the idea is to give back as well. When we manage to build this data set and to improve our model, the idea is to be able to then provide it to other type of actor that can benefit them. When we think about Kenya, we are looking at countries that are willing for sustainability approach, and that already have some data ecosystem that are quite mature. So that's why we identify Kenya for a possible first use case about scanning and speeding up land use approval and biodiversity study.
Thank you.
Thank you, Dominic, and thank you, judges, for your questions. Thank you for your presentation. Shall we move on to our next presenter from Ahia Salal? The floor is yours. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Good evening. My name is Salal, and I'm the founder of Ahia, where we build AI-powered software for the net zero era. Ahia is on track to become the category leader in sustainability innovation across the greater Middle East, achieving $4.6 million in annualized run rate, which is 5x year-on-year growth, having expanded from Pakistan to cover Saudi Arabia and the UAE, 3 of the 4 large economies, with a national contract to build a carbon markets infrastructure for the UAE government. As sustainability reporting and reduction regulations become mandatory across our region, data is the biggest challenge faced by enterprises, followed by cost. Leveraging Ahia's platform, our clients can enhance their revenue, reduce their financing costs, and increase investor confidence. We are the first company to build Google, for enterprise net zero, starting with a key focus on data. We have built 6 different ways to ingest and automate activity data collection. Leveraging our proprietary AI emission factor search, we can tag that as activity data to global emission factors and process it within our accounting engine to give an accurate emissions calculation in line with the GHG protocol. From there, we built our core products in IOS, our AI-powered carbon management and accounting platform, Tawazun, our AI-enabled voluntary carbon marketplace, and Ahya AI, our proprietary climate intelligence engine within our ecosystem for providing enhanced value add for our clients. IOS, our AI-powered CMAP, consists of 4 modules in measure, analyze, reduce, and report built on global sustainability standards. Our value proposition is based on being the fastest time to value, solving for real net zero with specific features on renewable energy transition, supply chain decarbonization, and alignment with SBTIs, and with direct access to carbon offsets, all at 1/12 of the cost of global comparables, and built with a focus on AI and being data-centric through our partnership with NVIDIA. Ahya AI acts as our climate intelligence engine for prediction, automation, and decision support. We'll now be showing you a quick demo of IOS and Ahya AI.
Welcome to IOS, our AI-powered carbon management and accounting platform. With IOS, enterprises can measure, analyze, reduce, and report their greenhouse gas emissions in weeks, not months, and at a fraction of global cost. At the heart of the platform is our accounting engine, powered by Ahya AI. Let's start with Ahya AI EF Search, an LLM-based semantic search engine trained to accurately map more than 150,000 emission factors to the right business activity. Ahya AI EF Search has a 90% plus accuracy, reducing manual workload and making IOS suitable for activities across sectors and industries. Capturing data across the enterprise is critical. With Collect, IOS streamlines how organizations request and capture emissions data across their value chain. Local suppliers can provide reported emissions or activity data, and where both are unavailable, using Ahya AI data capture, simply scan, upload, and receive accurate emissions from bills, ledgers, and even handwritten notes. And with the Integration Hub, IOS connects directly to ERPs, utilities, and IoT systems, so emissions data flows in automatically. All data is consolidated in the activity ledger, the single source of truth for emissions calculations. And with Ahya AI anomaly detection scheduled to be released in Q4, outliers will be flagged in real time, ensuring accuracy. From measurement to action, reduction modeling highlights the top 3 activities to reduce your emissions. Building on this, Ahya AI reduction optimization will model cost versus impact, helping enterprises choose the actions that deliver maximum reduction at the lowest cost. Finally, the decarbonization pathway allows you to see your historical emissions, plot your business as usual trajectory, set your enterprise and SBTI targets. With Ahya AI predictive analytics, enterprises will be able to predict the delta between their targets and their forecasts with initiatives for enhanced decision making. Accelerate to net zero with Ahya OS.
We're also launching Ahya AI Copilot, a first of its kind agentic AI for support on global sustainability standards, as well as regional climate policies and an enhanced product experience. So our approach of focusing on net zero is creating enterprise value as regulations become mandatory, where we have achieved 4.6 million in ARR with 3.35 million revenue, 50% coming from Ahya OS, which has 28 blue chip clients, as well as 50% coming from Climate X with a national contract, which is valued at 25 million across 10 years. We're solving for 1.2 gigatons of emissions with a mission to reduce 10 to 20 million tons per annum. We've been recognized as winners of the COP29 Africa Goes Green Award, finalists for COP28 Tech Sprint, the first Earthshot Prize nominee from the region, and the only company mentioned by the FII Institute in their AI for ESG impact report. We're raising a 10 million round to further the development of Ahya AI and increase our market presence. Our executive team has a deep understanding of the problems of this market with a track record in enterprise technology, artificial intelligence, and sustainability consulting. Join us to enable our region's transition to net zero with accuracy, transparency, and equitable economic growth. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Jennifer, the floor is yours.
Hi, Salal. Thank you for your presentation. It's extremely impressive traction that you have and extremely impressive answer to a really big problem. So congratulations on that. I just wanted to ask quickly, I see that you are delivering lots of insights in your reporting via AI, lots of different types, and I wanted to just kind of understand what the underpinning methodology is behind those insights, and if you have any defensible IP that you're looking to protect for this as well. Thanks.
Thank you, Jennifer. So out of our Aya AI modules, we've built Aya AI emission factor search, which is an LLM-based semantic tagging and mapping algorithm, and Aya AI data capture, which is essentially capturing data from bills, handwritten notes, or ledgers, essentially a localized problem, which is for solving for lack of digital data. Both of these are under patent filing at the US Intellectual Property Office, and we're filing the US patent, so it gives us global dispensability. On reporting, we don't have a specific AI generation for reporting as yet. What we have is the Aya AI Copilot, which is trained on a proprietary climate repository. And then we have tested it further by building RAG pipelines, as well as by doing what you call prompt engineering. And through that, we're being able to give specific, you can say, answers that are climate science accredited, or that accredited climate science would provide, with specific references. So for full transparency, not a report, but qualified answers from sustainability experts is what the Copilot can provide. And that is something that has also been built and trained. And we're testing that further for a launch in Q4 this year. Jennifer, I hope that answers the question.
It does. I had that extra question about what was defensible IP, but may or may not have time. I'll just pass to Vijay. Thanks.
Yes, the defensible IP are the patents that we've already filed on EF search and data capture. And our lawyers believe that we can file 2 more patents. So out of the 6 features that you can see, 4 have direct patentability.
Thank you very much.
Salal, great solution, very exciting time for you. And my question's really centered around your cloud integrations and the accuracy of some of the data for the sustainability of cloud. How do you guys go about integrating with the cloud and making sure that the data is accurate for the emissions reporting?
Thank you. So, Vijay, what we found was a local need, was to make sure that obviously the integrations that we do take activity data themselves. Because unlike in the US, as you know, Saudi Telecom or the cloud service providers of the region don't calculate the emissions for you. And once we have the at least they give us the amount of energy that's used in order to host our data or the financial spend. And once we have that, then we just tag it to the right location-specific emission factor, which is Tier 3 methodology from the GHG protocol and IPCC guidelines. All of that is then given in an audit-grade activity ledger. What we've also found, because listed companies, multinationals, and large banks are our first adopters and clients. So we also have partnerships with Ernst & Young and KPMG in the Middle East. So everything in that activity ledger, when it comes to us building a report, can be sent for third-party validation and insurance to those partners as well.
Thank you.
Thank you. Really excellent solution. Congratulations. I wanted to ask you, in relation to these partnerships with Ernst & Young, for instance, to what extent do you think that you can also leverage them as a sales channel to scale? And once you do win your next rounds of funding, where do you think where do you see the company in 5 years' time? Like how big do you think you'll be able to take it?
Carlo, I'll answer the first question. So our partnerships with KPMG and Ernst & Young, even though, as you know, KPMG and EY have their own global platforms as well, the reason is because they're driven by the local cost. And we have really made that 1/12 of any global comparable, and therefore we also have implementation agreements with those partners and a joint go-to-market exclusivity for the region. Similarly, we also have exclusivity with the two largest carbon market players from the US, Cloverly as well as Patch. And we give them projects that are qualified on global standards from the region as well as from abroad. All in all, to tell you about the 5-year vision and the plan, we want to focus on one thing, which is emissions under management and data. So as you can see, in the US, you have Watershed and Persephone, and you have some carbon market players, but none of them solve the real problem for an enterprise, which is to achieve net zero. And once we do that, what do we gain in turn is a moat or defensibility on the region's activity data. And we're getting that from our government contracts as well with building the National Carbon Registry. Therefore, we know the exact number of offsets that are purchased in the UAE, and the same we're doing in developing markets, for example, measuring the entire province of Punjab's emissions. And therefore, we are the best place when it comes to giving enhanced value add to those clients using AI. So in 5 years' time, we want to become a minimum $500 million company, and we can achieve that to 130 clients purely through giving value add based on AI for the emissions that we manage and to enable our clients to reduce their emissions leveraging AI.
Great job, Salal. Thank you for answering my question.
Appreciate it. Thank you.
Thank you all. And our next presenter will be Joyce Regano from EcoReach Solutions. Welcome, Joyce.
I hope you can see my screen.
Yes, we can.
Thank you. So hi, everyone. My name is Joyce Rogano, founder and CEO at EcoReach Solutions. This is a climate tech company based in Kenya that is transforming Africa's waste crisis into fertile soils and greener future. So I'll start from where I am. Every day in Nairobi alone, we generate over 3,000 tons of organic waste. Only 10% of this is recycled. The rest, it ends up in landfills. As it decomposes, it releases a very harmful greenhouse gas called methane. So this is not just a waste problem, it's a climate emergency. So across Africa, landfills are the largest source of methane emissions. But why has this problem existed for so long? It's because of the growing population, yet there has not been any fast or reliable way of managing organic waste. Now, meanwhile, on the other hand, our soil and our land is continually degrading, with Africa having over 65% of our land degraded. And farmers rely on chemical fertilizers that are not only expensive, but make this problem even worse. So communities are caught up in two crises. One, the waste crisis, and reduction in food production. So at EcoReach, we pioneered a technology called the WasteBot that is AI-enabled, solar-powered, that is able to convert any type of organic waste to a nutrient-rich organic fertilizer within 24 hours. So this is a smart technology that is mobile and automated, that is placed anywhere there is mass production of organic waste. It can be a food market, it can be a hotel, a school. Any organic waste is put in and it's automatically converted to organic fertilizer. So our WasteBot system is simple. So it's able to do the conversion within 24 hours as compared to the traditional way that was taking even 6 months. So it uses AI, we use AI optimization in regulating the aeration and temperature regulation to allow efficiency in the process. We use IoT sensors to monitor real-time consistency and the quality of the fertilizer. This WasteBot is fitted with carbon box filtration that allows absorption of any emissions from being emitted to the environment. This is a part of the innovation that we have patented in the Kenyan level, and we are looking forward to patent in the African level. So how we do it in here, we've set up 2 recycling centers in Kenya where we've put these WasteBots. We then get waste from the markets, from the households. We put in the WasteBot. We do the conversion within 24 hours, and we sell the fertilizer to small-scale farmers at a 70% cheaper price. So far, every day we convert around 8 tons of waste into organic fertilizer. We've prevented over 25,000 tons of methane emissions to the environment, and this data has been credited by the WSP Global Environmental Company. We are working with over 10,000 farmers who are our repeat customers and who have reported over 36 increase in their yields after using our this fertilizer. So we work with women and the youth in the waste collection, in our recycling centers, in the distribution of the fertilizer, and they earn an income from that. So I work with a diverse team. I don't work alone, and we are experts in different fields, and this has allowed us to get to where we are. So we've been on a journey of growth. In 2023, we launched our second version of our waste pot that was 50 kilogram output. But because of the amount of waste we were receiving every day, we increased this capacity to in 2025. Today we are at 500 kilogram output. We've set up 2 recycling centers, recycling 8 tons of waste every day. And we are looking to scale this to 8 recycling centers in the next 12 months. But for us to be able to do this, we need support, we need mentorship, and we need to increase the AI optimization of our waste pots so that we can allow so that we can have efficiency in the process of production. And this is why we are here today to seek that support. Thank you.
BJ, the floor is yours.
Hi, Joyce. Outstanding solution. Really exciting. I know how impactful that doing this composting could be for the farmers. How do you use AI within your process today?
We use AI in different ways. One, when you put in any waste in the waste box, it's able to identify the images of the different types of waste. In case there is any item that is not organic, for example, you put a plastic that escaped the human eye, our waste box is able to identify that and separate it from the rest of the waste. And this allows efficiency and also quality of the fertilizer at the end. Again, it goes through different temperature regulation throughout the process. First, it's heated at a very high temperature to kill the pathogens, then goes back to the normal temperature of around 28 degrees, and then it's cooled down. So throughout the different regulation mechanism of the temperature throughout the process, we apply AI. And also in measuring of the nutrients at the end. So what we do at the end of every batch, we are able to know the amount of nutrient levels of every output of the fertilizer. And this is to help us know the quality we are selling to farmers and also for consistency.
Amazing. Thank you.
If I may ask a question, Joyce, really good, phenomenal solution here. What are your concerns when it comes to scaling the organization up? What are going to be the bottlenecks that you predict? And how will you overcome them, both in terms of growing within Kenya? You've been growing also the sizes of your devices clearly. And then maybe do you have international expansion ambitions?
Thank you for the question. Yes, we do. So one of the things that we can foresee is the how our system or our production process is regulated. As we expand this, we expect to have hitches in that, as there has not been any other technology, especially in Kenya or Africa, that is doing similar to what we do. So it goes through a process of delay before we are credited to be in the market and to sell our products in the market. So we anticipate that as we plan to scale. Again, our waste board sizes, because of the amount of organic waste we receive every day, it's huge. Yes, we are at a 500 kg, but we've had circumstances when we've not been able to recycle all the waste, and the rest is left for us to know what to do with it. So we also anticipate that as we plan to scale our 8 recycling centers in the food markets in Kenya. So we also plan to scale it globally, especially across the African food markets, where we anticipate that we would set up our devices in different food markets. And yes, different countries have different regulatory mechanisms, and we know we can face issues with that, but we are looking into, as we plan to scale, we're looking for partnerships with, can be the government, can be the different organizations that are in this, that can help us ease the process of scaling our solution across.
Really good. Thank you, Joyce.
Hi, Joyce. Congratulations on your solution. Thanks for joining us today. I just had a quick question about your competition. Who is your competition? And maybe if you could get a little bit into kind of the profiles on your team, who your team, what the team makeup looks like. Thank you.
Okay. Yes, we have competitors. The competitors we have in the market.
Ouais, en réunion, mais je pense que je peux mettre en off, c'est bon.
Sorry. Okay.
Please go ahead.
Sorry. So we have competitors. One are the chemical fertilizer sellers. We have other companies that do organic waste to fertilizer. We have those competitors, but what really makes us stand out is our process of production. So our waste bots, one, are fast, reliable, they are very scalable because of the mobile and automated nature of it, and the fact that we are able to absorb emissions during the process of our production, and also because we are able to measure the nutrients levels. We don't have to go to the lab to measure before packaging. We're able to do the process one at a go. Again, because of the AI feature in our waste bots, we are able to ensure quality throughout the process of making this. Again, the fast, because it's able to do within 24 hours, we are able to recycle a lot of waste every day as compared to when you have to keep it for weeks before the output is ready. So this has helped us stand out to make that our process is very fast and reliable, and we're able to measure the emissions throughout our processes. So we have a bigger team than this. This is actually the main team, but under this we work with other many people, the cashiers, other people we work with on need basis, can be monthly contracts. But in our main team, we have I, who is lead in business management. We have Robinson, the co-founder, who is in research and development and works closely with the engineers in the assembling of the waste bots. We have our finance head, and we have a team in the projects, project coordination. So this is the main team, but we have other teams like agronomists that we work with every day. Though we've not been able to employ them full-time, but as we grow, we hope to have them in full-time.
Okay, thank you so much, Joyce. Congratulations again.
Thank you.
Thank you, Joyce. Thank you, judges. And now I would like to move on to our next presenter from Interlink. Marco, the floor is yours. Thank you.
Hello, everybody. Hope you can all see my presentation. Okay, so yeah, Marco from Interlink.
Sorry, you are not sharing your screen.
Am I not sharing it? No, just press the share button. Let me try again. There we go.
Yes, we can see it. Please go ahead.
Okay, there we go. Just waiting for the slideshow. Okay. Hi, yes, so Marco from Interlink, linking energy to intelligence. What we fundamentally do is unlock data-driven value to scale the deployment of clean energy. And we've done that already for 22,000 projects with some of the biggest renewable energy companies on the planet. At COP29, we were emerging tech finalists and have an ISO accredited standard. So driven by AI, energy demand will double by 2040. How are we going to meet it? Is it going to be the dirty, volatile, and costly alternative that already gets $1.1 trillion in annual subsidies and is really the root cause of the global greenhouse gas emissions? 75.7% of them come from energy. Or is it going to be the clean, secure, and affordable energy? In that regard, local solar is the world's cheapest energy. It is really the optimal form. You're using the energy where you're producing it, yet clean energy as a whole is facing a $2.3 trillion annual funding gap. Now, what is blocking the funding for local solar, in particular, optimal energy source? Unreliable data is one of the big factors. Data limitations, for example, one of our clients has got over 10,000 projects, doesn't necessarily know what's going on with all of them. There's a lot of greenwashing as well in the space. Low quality projects, for example, in this image, cutting down trees in the Amazon to put up solar farms. Solar projects in Scotland, even though they got 1/9 the solar irradiance of Namibia, for example, and inaccessible incentives is another massive issue. The access to incentives such as your tax credits, your carbon credits, it takes a lot of money up front, often to the tune of $100,000, to then wait years to actually get a revenue stream. So it's only really applicable to the biggest projects. So what if the driver of the problem, AI, could also be a solution and could instantly prove quality and maximize revenue potential to make smaller scale solar as bankable as utility scale energy? So we deliver trust, speed, and returns to local solar projects, maximizing their fundability. We analyze all the data. The tamper-proof data is tracked using blockchain, and then the AI analyzes it to detect any inefficiencies across a portfolio of assets. All these projects had to achieve our ISO accredited standard that ensures project quality. We monetize the impact that's being generated. Emissions reductions are monitored, reported, verified, and tokenized within minutes at no upfront cost for projects of any size. So similar to Michelin stars, our Earth standard auto-evaluates projects based on 5 important criteria. Now, if you have limited time and budget, you want that money to go where it's getting the most impact and the most returns. So energy, in terms of the energy efficiency, the sunniest regions is where we operate. That maximizes your return. Atmosphere, the circumvention of dirty grids, that gives you more return again because of that impact monetization, as well as impact as a whole goes up. We respect resources, so we have a preference for rooftop solar systems, again, maximizing the impact. Economic sustainability, that decreases the risk because we do background checks on the businesses themselves, and then also socioeconomic upliftment as a bonus, enhancing the impact. So all of these are analyzed in terms of those criteria and then getting those seal of approval. So this is how the onboarding journey really works for a client. It's as painless as possible. Initially, it's just stated, get portfolio-wide analytics without any costly hardware. All we need is an API key. Then we can start speaking to those 20+ inverter integrations that we have, collect that data, and provide that in a simple dashboard to our clients. That optimizes the projects because now they know with that data that we collect, we can compare it to the universe of data that we're collecting from all our inverters and point out that project is producing about 6% less efficiency than it would based on the data of that universe. They can then accordingly optimize those projects, change the solar direction to the sun. Perhaps there's too much dirt on the panels themselves, or there's a faulty connection. And then qualify your projects for free to maximize their fundability. Who says no to a free checking on the quality of those projects? That in turn reduces the risk. That was the previous slide I showed you, maximizes the impact, and then we can provide that to our financier partners as options to financing. And then finally, you have reduced $181,000 in this example of emissions, claim it, and then we can actually monetize the impact for them, all as simple as that. That increases the revenue. What these 3 pieces of the puzzle do is maximize the fundability of projects. And next year, with our banking partners, we'll be launching a fund to then actually fund those projects and get into that $2.3 trillion funding shortfall. So many seasoned investors already on board. Is this your moment to join them? We just last week added the ex-CEO of Old Mutual, just retired last month. First thing he did was join as an advisor and now also as an investor. We already had on board Sanjay Manchanda, the CEO who built Earth's most visible construction, the Dubai Palm, and other heavy hitters across the space. Which future are you investing in? Please do feel free to reach out for the full presentation, demo, financials, and more. Hello.
Hi, Marco. Congratulations again. Really fascinating project and lots of excellent traction. I wanted to just get some clarity on what sort of a round you're raising, like what level are you at this point, and what you're seeking to do with that fundraise. I mean, it's not directly related to some of the things that you discussed in the presentation. So
Yes.
clarity on that.
No problem. So there we go. So we are currently raising 10 million, but it can be split into 3 tranches. We always like to actually take the money, make something happen with it, obviously also in terms of the valuation increase. So this first tranche is 1.4. We'll be kicking that off in the next quarter, and then 2.6 towards the end of next year, and then 6 million as our formal pre-public offering for the public offering that we're planning 2 years from now. We actually did 2 pitch test runs, pitched to 300 people in 2 pitches, of them 92 invested, so a good 1 in 3 success rate. So really know there's a very powerful demand for what we've created, and that will be mostly going towards product and IP, increasing the AI models, increasing our offering for really optimizing that onboarding, and then a lot of that will also be going towards marketing, including the IPO.
Thank you very much. Congratulations.
Thanks.
Yeah, I have a quick question, Marco. So could you add a little bit of color on the practice of the star rating, the Michelin star style that you mentioned earlier? How do you go about ensuring that the rating system is trusted globally by investors? And to what extent is there an independent governance element of that, or is it entirely proprietary to your company?
So firstly, it's ISO accredited, and then it gets audited and validated by SGS. So that's the third party validation thereof. The information is also, because we use blockchain in the back end, the data is so how we actually also started this journey is we tokenize that emissions reduction with all the metadata, all the history of that, which is all tracked on blockchain. So you can see all the energy, you can see the methodology that was used. That in turn also gets third party audited, validated, and registered. Last year, April, we were the world's first fully digital end-to-end carbon credit. And then in terms of really acceptance, it's extremely logical. The methodology is for all to see. If you go onto our website, you can actually see the standard itself. And then it's just a process of actually becoming more and more accepted as that Michelin star rating. So we've got with that 3 Earths that you can get. It really, some of them are binary, like for example, as soon as a tree is cut down, we can't accept that project. And others are more based on grid emissions factor, for example. The higher your grid emissions factor, the more Earths you receive for that. And in the total, we give it that rating, but always with a positive twist, unless it's a binary thing that you fail. So that, like with the Michelin star ratings, that we didn't, instead of doing a percentage, we make it that it's those 3 Earths that you get if it's absolutely world class, and you still get an Earth, even if your grid emissions factor, for example, isn't as good, or your solar irradiance is in a region that doesn't have as high sun as Namibia, for example.
Very intelligent system. Thank you, Marco.
Pleasure.
Marco, incredible presentation, and congratulations for the early success from COP29. My question is fairly straightforward. Just how do you price and package your solution, and who are your target, ideal customers?
Okay, so there's for the here and now, our ideal customer are solar developers. So with that, we're working with some of the biggest in Africa and the Middle East. And for them, the easy way in, and we actually made a choice. It's good to charge something small, because then people feel, okay, this is something of value. So we really just charge $1 per megawatt installed to be able to get the data with no upfront hardware across the entire project portfolio. That's then that entry point. And then afterwards, we could then take the projects that satisfy the standard. This is more now thinking 2026 when you launch the fund, provide those to our financier partners, and then get a finder's fee for those high quality projects we provide for them. But our main revenue stream has really been the 12% of the asset that we've created, keeping that 12%. We'll be passing $1 million revenue now from that before the end of this year. And that's because we have a super optimal way of just creating these emissions reductions, we call them carbon credits, and then we keep a percentage of that. So there's no upfront cost. It's literally just, this is how much money you'll make. Just click this button and then claim that. And we've already got all that data, boom, tokenize it, and then they've got that money in their account.
Amazing. Congratulations.
Thanks.
Thank you so much. Thank you for your presentation, and judges for your questions. Now let's move on to our next presenter from GeoArc. Rohina, the floor is yours.
Okay. Good morning, good afternoon. My name is Rahina, representing GeoArc. Central Asia and Afghanistan has been in the front lines of climate change, with population expected to rise from 75 million to 100 million by 2050. The pressure on resources, urban centers, and migration flows will only intensify. What happens from here will affect the region's security, food supply, and global stability. So we have GeoArc over here. So what we do is we use AI with data to look at some of the challenges that Central Asia presents at the moment. So Asian countries face annual income loss from climate change, averaging about 3.8% of their GDP. So one of the aspects of that is floods that affect nearly 1 million people annually, causing an economic losses of 4.7 billion USD, and disrupting livelihoods. According to the Asian Development Bank, population is expected to grow by 30% by 2050, increasing some of the resources and demands, and rural to urban migration pressures. So despite these challenges, these urgent challenges, there's no centralized platform that brings together climate migration, socioeconomic data to predict risks and guide decisions. And this is where a GeoArc comes in. So GeoArc is essentially an AI-powered platform that integrates environmental data that helps government, NGOs, businesses anticipate climate risks and mitigation migration dynamics in vulnerable regions like Central Asia and Afghanistan. We combine geospatial analytics with local knowledge. We provide actionable insights for policy, resilient planning, and sustainable development. Our mission is to bridge technology with community needs so decision makers can act. So here we have, these are some of the things that GeoArc works on. We are working on integrating environmental and human data. So what do I mean by that? Our platform combines satellite imagery, meteorological data from a world. Some of them are from open source data, but others we work with International Water Management Institute, also IOM on the migration data for analysis. And then we have our predictive climate risk assessment. So GeoArc uses AI to detect these patterns and evaluate the risks associated with them. So we generate actionable insights for proactive management. So that could be for our target markets, our target customers. And then this one, the last one, disaster response dashboard, is something that we recently added, and particularly due to the recent events that took place in Afghanistan and the floods and the landslides and earthquakes, that there was no response unit. And this particular disaster response dashboard was to address that particular issue, and essentially not just to spread awareness, but also to allocate resources for the disaster that takes place. Next slide. So our target market, and I mentioned this before, but essentially we are targeting, our target market would be government agencies, international organizations. International organizations, those who only work with one layer of data, if humanitarian organizations that need those stacks of data with the AI that they need help with. Say, for example, one region, one specific area is looking into that there is a water scarcity issue and or a drought, the rural to urban migration, and how does the urban area needs to cope with that. We work on that. And then private organizations, NGOs, and humanitarian organizations, as I mentioned. We also work with academic and research institutes as well. So currently, we're done our market research. We're on to our product development. In the next year, first quarter, we'll be starting our user testing. And then the third quarter of next year, we'll be launching our product. In terms of our business model will be a three-tier SaaS license. According to what the features will be available or are selected, those there will be three different tiers for those, and also consulting services as we work on with people on the ground with local knowledge as well. Just quickly, our competitor analysis. So affordability is something that we have been working on to make sure that GeoArc is affordable compared to our competitors. One thing that we worked on, especially because we is the localized language installation as well. So the region is quite diverse in terms of how many languages are spoken. So making sure that it can be configured to the language of the region of the specific area. Ability to protect and also easy to use. So some of our goals for 2030 is to ensure that we have better prepared communities, humanitarian planning, proactive management of climate-induced migration, strengthening regional cooperation, and long-term resilience. With that being said, thank you so much, and if you have any questions.
May I go ahead? I have a quick question. Thank you for your presentation, Rohina. So Central Asia faces pretty complex migration politics. And what is your plan with regards to navigating data sharing across countries with competing interests? And are you looking to position yourself and to develop a strategy to be a trusted neutral broker? And if so, how will you achieve that?
Yeah, that's a great question. And as you rightfully mentioned, that's one of the biggest issues. And we are brokering ourselves as in a neutral position. We are working with the international organizations and locals at the same time, but our stance is to have that neutral position.
Okay. Thank you.
Hi, Rohina. Oh, sorry, Vijay. We're gonna jump in there. I'll just ask my question. Congratulations on your project. I had a question about your business model. You mentioned consulting and kind of taking advantage of people on the ground. Were you referring to them being your own kind of consultants and you would be selling their services through your business model?
Exactly. That would be one of the revenue streams.
Okay. And about how much of kind of what you're looking at in terms of your revenue would that represent? I'm just asking because, consulting services are infamously hard to scale. And your SaaS model looks like it is a lot more scalable, just asking for that reason.
No, for sure. And I think consulting services, particularly why we chose that is because a lot of private companies want to come in and for whether they want to bring in their companies, they want that local knowledge of how do I establish my company with making sure that I meet a certain threshold. So those local knowledge is very valuable, and that's there for that reason.
Okay, thank you very much.
Great presentation, Rohina. Just quick question. What type of data points do you bring into your platform to then kind of use to come up with your predictions? Just what are the main types of data that come in?
Yeah, thank you. So the data that we currently work with is meteorological data, but also migration data. So those migration data we collect from local municipalities within the region. So if there is, say, for example, there is a internal from rural area to the urban area, there's a registration that usually takes place. So we collect that, and over time, we've gathered the documents to actually map that out and ensure that to see a pattern and where that pattern is, and kind of allocate that on top of the data for the ecological or environmental projections that's happening in the region, and see the alignment there.
Thank you.
Thank you, Rahina, for the wonderful presentation, and thank you, judges, for the questions. Now, shall we move on to our next presenter from Ignitia? Andrew, welcome.
Great. Hi, everybody. I'm Ignitia. I'm Andrew from Ignitia. Really happy to be here. I'm here to talk about how Ignitia is driving an AI revolution in weather forecasting, which has been broken for quite some time now. So you know that if you are traveling in Sao Paulo, or let's say, well, Brazil, Kenya, Indonesia, anywhere as you move closer to the equator, that by and large, you look at your phone, iPhone, Android, doesn't matter, it's saying it's going to rain every single day. We're getting caught flat-footed because of these flash floods. You have the Sahara turning green, you have Dubai underwater, and you have wildfires engulfing the Amazon. We have broken weather forecasting because of climate change and these heat-driven storms that are introducing the type of chaos that is preventing us from building climate resilience. And so we see an enormous amount of economic damage, loss of life, and you also see that, according to the UN's own estimates, billions of individuals lie outside of basic and adequate early warning systems. And so these legacy weather models miss rainfall estimates, and they miss extremes that are driven by climate change. And so Ignitia starts by building an AI native weather platform that's built for our extreme weather future. And what this means is we've developed physics-informed AI models for different types of events. And those help us do everything from building a virtual storm radar, nowcast 0 to 3 hour early warning system, to building forecasts out to 6 months to be able to predict these types of anomalies. It's going to be wetter, it's going to be drier. And this has a whole host of use cases, especially when we fix the other problem, which is last mile distribution. Most individuals don't have access to hyperlocal, high accuracy weather and climate intelligence. And so we stand out by doing a couple things. One is really focusing on confidence forecasting. What this means is we don't play around with statistical averages. We don't want people to say, oh, 50% chance of rain, your guess is as good as mine. In order to build advisory, alerts, and an industry of climate resilience solutions, you need to be confident that it's going to rain or not rain. And so we start by fixing the weather forecast itself. And just want to put a highlight out there. You can look at several studies that show as you move closer to the equator, particularly, in the global south, that the rainfall accuracy drops. And this is because of these heat-driven convective-based storms that Ignitia specializes in. And then the second is we really, there's 200 billion weather observations made every single day by public and private sources. AI is perfect for this type of application to find when you can partner with remote sensing and satellite companies and existing weather stations to be able to address any kind of accuracy problems you'd face in predicting the rains or any kind of anomaly. So we build one scientific data platform and have a multi-sector adaptation approach. So in agriculture, where we've reached 3 million individuals in sub-Saharan Africa, mainly through telecommunication company partnerships like Orange and MTN. We help farmers understand when the rainy season is going to start. It's one of the largest, most impactful things we can do to ensure that that farmer picks the right crop and can have a successful season boosting their yields. In finance and insurance, many times they don't even know what is the basis risk in the areas where they are because they lack the observation data. Global South doesn't have as many weather stations, doesn't have as many radar networks, doesn't have as much historical data to innovate these climate risk indices. We solve that problem by developing reforecast data and helping to produce these climate risk indices. Ports and logistics, we see this real-time extreme weather alert being in place of and helping to secure supply chains by helping to understand when is there an extreme weather event that's going to hit in the next 3 hours. And then governments and early warning systems. This is something on everyone's mind. How do we prepare and insulate ourselves from the extreme weather that we're experiencing and grappling with globally? And so we've had several studies done by 60 decibels and others indicating top tier impact for users on the ground. We do work with B2B companies, supply them with data, supply them with intelligence, but then we learn the most by connecting with users on the ground through WhatsApp and SMS channels. And this is where we really get to learn how the product is impacting individuals, where we can use more human-centered design and now agentic AI to adapt the messages. You can't just tell somebody, oh, it's going to be 5 millimeters of rainfall tomorrow. You really need to understand the local context, the farming system, or the application for different uses, be it logistics, early warning, pre-positioning of humanitarian aid, insurance, or small-scale farming. And so we love getting these types of messages from customers and partners where, you know, because of climate change, it's no longer relevant to just kind of use traditional methods to anticipate the rain. And so we love getting these messages about how our alerts have worked. So let's build climate resilience together. Thanks.
Thank you. Great presentation. Can I ask a question? Andrew, I wanted to ask you, how do you go about ensuring last mile access to farmers avoiding digital exclusion? Because depending on the region, you know, not everybody has the access or the digital literacy to be able to maybe interact. What are your thoughts on that?
Yeah, it's a great point. You can't just say that everybody is going to go onto a web search engine, type in what's the weather today, and expect universal access. We really think about in each country. In Brazil, it's WhatsApp. 80% of farmers are using WhatsApp, not just to communicate, you know, socially, but they're using it in their farming system. In Ghana, it's SMS, or it's us connecting to voice and call centers. And so we've built the system in a way so that we can be omni-channel and go and reach the last mile, however the population accesses information.
Really interesting. I'd love to have an ongoing conversation about this. It's an area of interest for me. Very good. Thank you.
Andrew, great presentation. Just a really quick question. There's a lot of people working on weather and weather prediction around the world. What is your kind of vision in 5-10 years where this leads to?
Yeah, I mean, it's really exciting that so many people are addressing this, and there's so many layers that need addressing. So we really are focusing on this rainfall prediction and, you know, let's fix rainfall prediction and everyone that's unable to predict that, and the types of last mile tools. I mean, I envision that with agentic AI, everyone will have their own climate risk advisor sitting in their pocket. You're not going to be sitting on the television waiting for, you know, the meteorologist to broadly describe the weather patterns in the region. You will have some agent in your pocket telling you about the risk to your assets, the risk to your livelihood strategy, the potential mitigation steps you could use, the ways you can insulate yourself through insurance products or through taking advantage of other types of, let's say, infrastructure upgrades and investments that governments are going to be taking. And so that's where we're going with this. And I think, you know, we're taking small steps at Ignition to get there.
Awesome. Thank you.
Hi, Andrew. Thank you for your presentation. Excellent one. So I had a quick question about how you'll be leveraging agents. Super interesting. I'd just like to learn a little bit more about that. And in terms of kind of adoption, do you foresee any sort of kind of friction in the trustworthiness of the agents in order to kind of deal with your end customer?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, first and foremost, we are not exposing customers to AI-generated potential hallucinations of advisory. When we do AI on the science, it's mostly machine learning, deep learning basis to be able to improve and eliminate the bias like I was showing in the slides. And so we do not have, for example, certain bits of advisory where the agent is looking at all of the weather data and saying, well, I recommend that you actually rip up your corn and plant sorghum. No. That's going to be doing harm. So it will get there eventually, I'm sure, but there's lots of reasons for us to put a pause on that. And to your point, what we are doing is looking at the system. So if there are extension agents like World Food Program or some of the other partners we work with, or if there's other types of intermediaries, that's how we're building it. It's starting with, honestly, us having direct interactions with customers, and so that we can build a better training base for chatbots. And so when we won the WhatsApp for the Amazon contest and we were finalists there, this has enabled us through Turn.io and WhatsApp to be able to produce really dynamic services, two-way information. So we can learn from users where we fall short, where we can improve, and this is the basis for that agent.
Understood. Great work. Thank you.
Thank you, Andrew. Thank you, judges. Now let's welcome our last presenter from Pioneer, Joshua. The floor is yours, please. Joshua, we can see your screen. Please make sure that you are unmuted.
Yes, perfect.
Super.
First of all, thank you for the opportunity to participate in this AI for Good session. I am Joshua, a core team member of Pioneer. We are an NGO, and our mission is to democratize early wildfire detection for building community resilience and protecting ecosystems. As you all know, wildfires are no longer the exception. They are becoming the new normal. During the 2023-2024 fire season, 3.9 million square kilometers burned globally. To give you an idea, this represents almost the entire EU surface. Wildfires globally are becoming more frequent and more intense. This trend weakens our ability to protect ecosystems vital to climate change mitigation. To build community wildfire resilience, holistic risk management strategies are needed. Still, the first minutes after wildfire ignition are critical, and detecting wildfires early saves precious time. This is where our solution comes into play. Our platform enables communities to detect wildfires early and to respond faster. Our solution works as follows. We deploy monitoring stations on high vantage points across the forest. Each station is equipped with multiple cameras and a microcomputer. We capture images of the surroundings at regular intervals. Then, we analyze images locally using our AI model. Each time the model detects smoke, an alert is sent to our API. The alert can then be distributed across communication channels, like our platform or messaging services. To serve firefighters the best we can, we have developed an end-to-end solution, and our platform includes fire location triangulation and real-time camera control functionalities. 43 monitoring stations are already protecting forests and communities in France, Chile, and Spain. An installation takes half a day, and each station can cover up to 400 square kilometers. This summer, our stations trigger alerts up to 2 hours earlier than public calls. The deployment has already enabled us to release an open image dataset to advanced research. This is overall our model, delivering shared benefits for communities and partners while driving innovation. With more monitoring stations, we can gather valuable feedback and data. This, in turn, enables us to build on collective intelligence, to train better models, improve the platform, and optimize our operations to reduce costs. The more we deploy, the cheaper and the better the platform gets, the more communities we can protect. Pioneer is a non-profit NGO powered by an open community of contributors who share one goal, driving change. We trust collective intelligence to tackle today's most pressing challenges. We build technology for the common good, open and accessible as digital commons. Values matter, but building wildfire resilience requires on-the-ground coordination. This is why we collaborate with key actors from government to private operators. So what is coming next for Pioneer? Our long-term vision is simple: to make early wildfire detection a global public good. In the next 3 years, we will roll out monitoring stations nationwide in France, expand our global partner network so communities worldwide can install stations, embrace digital commons by building a global community to maintain and govern the shared code, data, models, and standards that anyone can use, audit, and improve. We are an NGO. That means that you can also help scale wildfire protection. You can leverage your network and bring Pioneer to your community, or join us to build and improve the platform. Thank you again for the opportunity to present Pioneer. Visibility among world leaders can bring together public institutions, researchers, and engineers across borders to make early wildfire detection a global public good. Together, we can protect communities and ecosystems. Together, let's fight wildfires. Thank you.
Can I ask a question? First of all, thank you for your presentation, Joshua. It's really commendable work, and I totally appreciate it living in the part of France that is usually in flames. So I wanted to ask you how how are you sustainable and how can you scale sustainably as an NGO?
Yes. So our model combines revenue from grants, philanthropic support, and additionally, we generate revenue from maintenance and knowledge transfer to public agencies, private partners, and NGOs we work with, right?
Thank you.
Great presentation, Joshua, and congratulations on this work. Wildfire protection is very important as global warming proceeds. And which territories do you envision servicing? And if you think about 5 years from now, where do you want to see this go, and which type of partnerships do you want to activate?
Yes. So we envision covering as much and protecting as much as we can. So the idea is that we want to push local partnerships so that everywhere the solution can be deployed, right? It's open source. The way we think we can scale that is through training and onboarding different organizations, whether private or public, that wish to deploy the system. And together we can cover as much territory as we have organizations that decide to join the network and work with us.
Awesome. Please do stay in touch with me. I do have some good ideas for you in partnerships.
Thank you.
Hey, congratulations, Joshua. Excellent initiative. Just very quickly, I wanted to understand a little bit more about your computer vision model that you were referring to. If you could just kind of get into that, the details
Yes.
of that. And it sounds like you rely on a lot of partnerships to do kind of the data collection. Just wanted to understand what that looks like on a practical level. Thanks.
Okay. So regarding the model is the architecture is called YOLO V11. So it is a variant of the architecture for object detection that is optimized for edge devices. So this is what we are using, and what we are detecting are the plums from the fires, more specifically, right? And these are the models that run on the microcomputers. Additionally, we collected multiple data sets on top of the data we have available to train our different models. Your second question was regarding the
Yeah, the data collection, how it sounds like you're collecting this data via partnerships, just kind of what it looks like on a practical level. And I guess also kind of to Vijay's question, how you scale that.
Okay, yes. So through legal agreements, right, we are able to collect the data. Of course, we take care to blur the data if needed, but the data from our different monitoring stations. So each time we have a monitoring station that is deployed, we can gather more data. Additionally, we use data sets that we gathered from open camera networks around the world. So that would be the second point.
Okay, thank you very much.
Yes, thank you.
Thank you all. Thank you, Joshua, for your presentation. Thank you, judges. Thank you, everyone. A wonderful time control. This is amazing. And thank you, the audiences who joined us until now. So we are reaching the end of the session. Again, we are not going to announce any winners. The evaluation will be done offline, and we will keep you posted. So the outstanding startups from the 2 pitch sessions will be invited to the COP30, and then they will have a final round of competition over there. The winner will be invited to AI for Good 2026 next year. So we are at the end, and we look forward to seeing you in the future sessions. Thank you so much for joining. Have a nice day. Bye-bye.
Thank you for participating in today's AI for Good session. We hope you've learnt something new, innovative, and engaging in today's Thank you for participating in today's AI for Good session. We hope you've learnt something new, innovative, and engaging in today's event. We now encourage you to continue the conversation on the live video wall in the neural network. Here you can ask questions, like and comment, share links, complete the poll, connect with interesting profiles, or speak one-on-one using the chat and video function. We invite you to explore the lobby, try the smart matching quiz, visit the virtual exhibits, poster boards, the e-shop, and build your personalized AI for Good program. Let's shape the future of AI for good.